Hey everyone, it's Jem and hope you guys are doing alright. Today's model kit holds some sentimental value because it's what started it all for me. It's the very first Master Grade that I ever built, and safe to say 7 years later, I'm pretty hooked on Gunpla because of it. The Master Grade Justice Gundam. Let's check it out. The first time I built this model kit 7 years ago, I had no idea what I was doing. Because I had just started out and didn't think I wanted to spend on side cutters, I was using nail clippers to get parts off the runners. Not anymore though, I have some pretty good side cutters now. Anyway, let's take a look at the box. We get a great illustration of the Justice Gundam in battle. I didn't actually notice this before, but the top left corner actually has the Freedom Gundam covered by the printed text. Of course, we get two identical sides of the cropped box art. On this side of the box, we get a nice front and rear view of the completed Master Grade Justice Gundam, as well as a nice action pose using the double-ended beam saber. We also see some of the inclusions, the multiple alternate hand parts, the weaponry, the pilot figures of Atheron, and the marking decals and stickers, and some info of the model kit in Japanese and English. On this last side of the box, we see the Justice Gundam in some action poses, and they feature the gimmicks built into the model kit as well. And we have a nice section showing all the stuff included in the box. And yes, it does come with its own action base, making this a really good deal, I would say. Opening the box, we get 9 packs of runners, with a total of 16 runners, including the runners for the action base. Fun fact, most of the inner frame parts are the same as the Master Grade Freedom Gundam 2.0. For markings, we get some stickers, dry transfer decals, and foil stickers for sensors. And finally, we have a booklet-style manual, my favorite kind of manual. Really don't like the brochure type. The instructions show you the runners you need per section of the build you're doing, so you don't have to have all runners at the ready all the time. Then the centerfold has some cool details about the Justice Gundam, as well as the painting guide for getting the colors accurate. And at the back, a nice complete build of the Master Grade Justice Gundam. I actually built this kit on live stream here on YouTube, and it was pretty fun hanging out with you guys. I'm planning on doing more of these, so if you also want to chill and hang out, watch out for announcements on Instagram or here on my YouTube community tab about the next time I go live. Here's the Master Grade Justice Gundam fully built with no panel lining or decals, so you can see what it looks like before any additional work is done on it. I just added the sensor stickers in the head because the foils give them a pop of color. This looks just as great as I remember the first time I built it. The nostalgia is hitting me pretty hard. The unique V-fin and head sensor, the spiky shoulders, chunky knees and ankle guards, and the huge backpack with all the panel details you see on model tanks or airplanes. The looks on this model kit, I just have to give it up. Mwah! Chef's kiss. Back then, at that time, I hadn't watched Gundam Seed yet, so I had no clue what the Justice Gundam was in its own lore or story, but this design just called out to me from that Toys R Us shelf. Now, it comes with similar equipment as the Freedom Gundam 2.0. We get the shield with the shooting hole, the beam rifle that can be stored on the back skirt, and the same beam sabers that are stored in the side skirts. The Freedom came with railguns, but the Justice has its own beam cannons, turrets, and machine guns on its Fatum backpack. And this backpack can be used separately from the mobile suit as a flying support unit, or in glider form for when you want to go Green Goblin mode. Plus it has beam boomerangs on its shoulders with some pretty cool looking beam effect parts. And of course, something that makes this kit a really solid package overall, it comes with its own action base. I know action bases aren't the most expensive accessories in the world, but having one straight out of the box gives you less to think about. I love this kit now, and I love that it was also my first Master Grade back then. All these features and accessories were great to see. It's such an interactive Gundam model, and evidently it got me hooked on Gunpla even 7 years after. Anyway, here it is beside other stuff from my collection. The Real Grade RX-7882 version 2.0, the Plyobot Gurren Lagann, the Master Grade RX-7882 version 3.0, the Master Grade Sazabi Verka, some Gundam gashopods, my fake plant, and my previous most recent review, the Master Grade Freedom Gundam 2.0. Having these two together is really something special. Before we talk about the articulation, if you've found this review of the Master Grade Justice Gundam enjoyable or helpful so far, please leave a like below. And if you've watched more than one of my videos, please consider subscribing. It would really help a lot. Thanks. So the Master Grade Justice Gundam pretty much has the same inner frame as the Freedom 2.0, so the articulation is just as good. We have a double ball joint in the neck so you can do some wiggles. It can look up that far and look down this far. We have the chest mechanism that pushes the chest and the shoulder joint forward to make it easier to reach across the body. We have the hinge inside the shoulder that can get the shoulder pretty much this high, but because of how bulky this shoulder armor is, that's all you can get. But supposedly you can hinge the shoulder at that section here. Because this has the Freedom 2.0 frame, you have the extending elbow, or should I say forearm, and that gives you this much of an elbow bend. We have the cuff section that has a little movement, and the wrists are on ball joints. The thumbs are also on ball joints. For the chest, we have this opening cockpit hatch where you can see Athrun inside. So here's the ab crunch. There's not really a lot. It's kind of less than the Freedom 2.0 because of all the armor. I think it has a lot more armor than the Freedom. And then here it is with the back bend, also not too much. We get a nice side to side, and the waist can swivel, but not all the way around because of the armor. The front skirts are on a hinge and a ball joint, so you can move them up like so, and you can swivel them side to side a bit, and you can see some inner frame detail in there too. The side skirts are on a peg and some hinges, so you can move them front and back like so, and up and out like so. It also has the opening compartment for the beam sabers. The back skirt can move out like so. Again, this has the same inner frame as the Freedom 2.0, so you have the shifting hips that move down like so, giving you enough space to kick up and kick back, although it is in like an outward angle. We also have the swivel on the top of the thigh, and it has the same moving thigh armor when you bend the knee. And there's the full knee bend. We have some thrusters that can point up and down. The ankles can tilt left and right like so, and can pivot as well. The ankles are pretty chunky, so the ankle guards can only move up and down this much. Using those ankle joints, you can point the foot up this much and point it down this much, but you also have this nice toe bend to make it even more pointy. And we have the peg that plugs into the glider mode of the backpack. There is like a tab that you can snag on to get that out. I just don't like to because you can see it's kind of stressing the plastic already. Let's talk about the attachment point for the mobile suit. It has a few configurations. This is the position it's in for the active mode of the backpack, and then you shift it down like so when it's not in the active mode but you still have it on the back. And this rectangular bit here is what you use to plug into an action base. Now there's also a lot of points of articulation here on the backpack. First, let's go through the beam cannons on top here. We have a mechanism for them to move forward like so. 2 points of articulation there. We have 2 hinges, so it can move up like this. And we have another point of articulation that can have you swivel it side to side. And then the cannon itself can point up. And it's also on a track, but I don't really move this too much because it's not very, I don't think it's very useful. It kind of seems like it's fine as is, like so. Then we have these mini turrets that can swivel and point up and down, which is pretty cool. And then the wings are on arms that can swivel all the way around. They can also swivel at this point, which can go all the way around. And there's a hinge that can help you flap it up and down. We also have these flaps at the back that can subtly move side to side, not too much. And then the thrusters at the back can actually move out. Lastly, we can have it extend like so for the glider mode, giving the Justice a bit more space when you want to mount it on the glider mode. We actually have parts on the runners to cover these holes when you don't have it in glider mode, but I kinda just don't care. You don't really see it a lot, and even if you do, it doesn't really, at least for me, it doesn't really bother me. So I didn't put them in. I didn't even cut them out of the runner. But yeah, here it is in the fully deactive mode, and here's what it looks like on the Justice. And I like how it makes it a lot bulkier. But yeah, the articulation is pretty good. Just be careful of the joints because they do have tendencies to break. I almost forgot, there's also this thruster in the crotch, or should I say a crotch thruster, as you can see there. It's kind of weird. I don't really know what it's for, or if it's even necessary for it to move. I feel like it looks okay as it is, but yeah. With all the points of articulation on this thing, it's really hard for me not to change it from day to day. Which I think is good because there are so many posing options you can try. You can use the usual equipment with the shield and the rifle. You can use the double-sided beam saber. You can use the beam boomerangs. You can place it on the backpack as a glider. There are so many features and gimmicks you can make use of. But a big downside to this really good interactability, if you're changing the poses a lot, you run the risk of breaking the weak point, the J4 hip joint. Luckily, that's an easy fix nowadays with people selling die-cast metal J4s online. Some shops even have a partially all-metal replacement inner frame for this and other J4 kits like the Freedom 2.0 and the Providence Gundam. But that will make your Gundam model very bottom-heavy. I tried that before with my first Master Grade Justice, and it got pretty hefty and difficult to mount on an action base. That kinda made me afraid of putting it in dynamic poses because it could break the action base. So this time around I settled for just the metal J4s. But yeah, if you don't have any replacement parts yet, I suggest you be very careful when you move the joints. Even after building the Master Grade Justice Gundam a second time around, several years after the first time, the experience still is one of my favorites. Seeing how they engineered the special chest articulation and the gimmicks like the sliding thigh armor. As you put this kit together, you'll find that it's really fun. And to add to that, the backpack feels like a whole other model kit that comes with the Justice Gundam. I don't know if you would prefer that, but I definitely enjoyed it. Honestly, my only gripe for this and the Master Grade Freedom Gundam 2.0, and I guess by extension the Providence Gundam, are those J4 hip joints that break a lot. A commenter on my Freedom review also mentioned that the peg that connects the torso section with the waist section was fragile for their kit. Personally, after years of fiddling with these Master Grades, I haven't had that issue, but it would be better if you guys be careful of that as well. Overall, the Master Grade Justice Gundam, the very first Master Grade I ever built years and years ago, is a model kit I would recommend. Like the Freedom 2.0 with that J4 hip joint, it isn't perfect, but I don't think that should stop anybody interested in having either the Justice or the Freedom or even the Providence. Even if these were action figures, you should just be careful with your things in general anyway. Now I just want to say thanks to my live stream viewers for picking out the next kit I'm building from my backlog. Next up is the Master Grade Ill Strike Gundam Remastered. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, leave a like below. If you want to see more model kit builds and reviews like this, don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to support the channel more, thanks. There's a link to my Patreon page down in the description. See you in the next one.